Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Angel Wallace Productions and God's Grace on Thee. Today is Sunday. It is the 28th of April of 2024. It is now 9:48 a.m. Let us continue with the Magnificent Seven, Chapter 21, Recording 1, Hilarion, Monday, April 24th, 1989. 7 o'clock a.m., year 2, day 251. Hilarion, to speak to you, Dharma. Thank you for allowing my humble presence to join with you. We sat with you as ye were witness to moving pictures of last evening for reference Murderers Among Us, Simon Wiesenthal's live stream during this passage. And I'm going to speak on the manners of persecution upon the bodies, hearts, and souls of man. By man. I am the best spokesperson for the subject, for my own physical life stream on earth place was as Paul, Saul of Tarsus. I persecuted to such extent that none, not even thy Hitler, could balance my negative energy. It was only different in the group whom I persecuted. Quite frankly, I knew no better truth. Ones living in the presence and fulfillment of the evil intent actually believe it to be the better way, chelas. I have paid dearly for those wrong choices of my precious free will actions, and I continue to earn my way back to total perfection. Evil. I also have witnessed that even through the acts of evil, which were perpetrated at my hand and command, the balance of good has been allowed to blossom indeed. Therefore, chelas, do not cast aside any lesson, for all scenarios are intended for thy experience and learning achievements. Simon W. is correct. It is when the actions are perpetrated and then man allowed to forget or deny that the true lessons are lost to be repeated again and again and again. Ye ones become bored with the repetitions that the Jewish peoples repeat yearly at all important days. And most do not even know why they do it, and the point is missed. There were also as many non-Jewish persons annihilated in the days of Hitler as there were Jews, give or take a few million. I will not go into the reasons now that those things happened, but it had to occur for the rest of the mandates to be allowed to bloom. It had to be for the revelation of the prophecies. One man's evil? Oh no, brethren, not one man's evil. Evil was so widespread that you would not even comprehend the level of hatred against brother which was really present. Now, if many were not evil, Hitler could have done naught. He would have been killed or at least cast away from leadership. And it was the dark brotherhood at work in fine form. So be it, for it is done. But the lessons brought forth must not be lost unto any of you, for you have only just begun the next segment of horrors as the evil ones come into final confrontation. When ye have been tempered in the fire for thy purpose, however, the entry of the master teacher is as a whirlwind, and it comes in mighty force, confounding of the very consciousness of the human entity. If thee are appointed, it will come when and wherever the God within confronts the master alchemist. It can gently grow from that point, or it can completely consume of thee. Mostly ones are of basic goodness, and the moment of conversion is not really known to thee. Until the awakening, you will probably know at what point in the existence of your soul you finally offered all. There's not even a way to know if you came for a purpose as I have, back again and again to assist ye of the mortal density. Let it be, just know that you are, and let us do our work. Actually, it is the culmination of the call and many calls. Ye know of your growth when you recognize that you are broken in the human and accept the divine as thy only choice. Ye will err again and again. Thee will never slip again into the pits of evil. Hear the call. Ah, yes, ye better be in the listening, or the call can be most uncomfortable to the human being. For your confirmation, do you wait for him to appear in visions to flatter you with the presence of angels and trumpets, harps playing, and a retinue of God beings? Ah, chelas, ye may wait very long, and you may find the waiting very hard. Just as I had to be in the facing of my task in the lighted path, ye must face the difficulties and the expectations of evil attack upon thy path. Now this receiver, this messenger, Dharma, must face all possibilities. I effort at warning her and you of the pitfalls of the path and the mission, for the way is cluttered with all that would stop thee. Do not be smug in your understanding of the mysteries, for there are many who have had the sacred mysteries who have never experienced the resolvement of the lighted red road to Creator Source. If you do not neglect the requirements of the service, you will find that God's presence will come from His place within and become without. You will also feel the encircling comfort of the brotherhood of the sacred infinite circle, which is the Christos, form total protection about thee. And you might proclaim, I'm not worthy, for I walked in such negative manner yesterday. So man walks that path constantly, and man needs the example of imperfection that he can relate to perfection. So do not suddenly sit on thy pedestal and proclaim achieved perfection. Seek rather to be perfected by that wondrous energy that comes from perfection. And as you are perfected within, the light will radiate without. Know perfection as the graces of that great Spirit and seek them. Judge not how far thy brother has progressed. Look within at thy own degree of progress and move ever forward. Wrap thyself in the protection of that perfection that the evil brotherhood is kept without. Darkness cannot invade thy presence in light unless thee allows of it. Do you not see that if it were possible to be humanly perfect, there would be no need for divine perfection? And if it were possible to contain God on earth outside of thee, there would be no need to pursue heaven. So once you have experienced the energy flow that comes with a healing salve of wondrous beauty, thee will want to remain inside that calm and harmonious wholeness. So look always within truth and honesty, and just as I, as Saul, was struck by the light and blinded upon the roadway, have ye not perchance been stricken? Just as the Master Isu Jesus stood in my presence and asked, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Have ye not heard these words in thy soul, as ye have witnessed curses upon thy fellow man, abortions of thy babes, deliberate actions to avoid responsibilities of truth, as thee hast taken the easy way, the human way? Oh yes, there is not one energy who will fall heir to these words that will not have experienced that small, wee call within thy mind. Come now, come and let us reason together. You who are the intelligent or soul self-considered, you who are the ones who know of the things of this life, let us consider the end of cycles and the sloughing off of the old, and let us remember how all that appears to in manifested form must be recycled back into the central source. You can't take with you truth. Is it not better to come into early understanding and communion with thy source before having to climb back up the ladder to a level whereby thee can do of the appointed work during this time of transition? Is thy alarm clock not ringing and ringing? There is a pattern, a blueprint, a building, if you will, whereby sequence is mandatory. Are you filling thy service station in timely manner that the sequence is not interrupted? And are you aware enough to count the days and the hours of opportunity open unto you? You cannot ask of another, what is my level, or am I doing okay? Not even thy higher brothers, for you know whether or not you are doing all thee can, all thee has agreed to do. And you know if thy job is being fully tended and not left undone, for another to need pick up and bear. Ye know. And if ye claim ye do not know, better go again within and see what you find. For if you question an excuse, you know they are not acting in wholeness, but rather wish ones to assure you that you are okay. No, brethren, thy job is solely between thee and the God within. It is much as in pregnancy with child. Ye are or ye are not pregnant. Ye are doing thy job fully or thee are not. Gray areas are excuses. Now this is not to be condemning, only when confronted, then the response need not to be excuse but truth. And God knows the difference. More, even thy cosmic brothers know the difference. And 'tis only man who has closed his talents of understanding to the limit of hiding one from another. Now, just as I was given a new name by the master teacher, Paul, to replace Saul, it was to remove the old from my presence, that I might experience in the new. So the inner name given unto me at that time signified the great power of the mission of healing that was to be mine. And each one of you have a secret name which is given unto you. Some of you will hear numerous labels within thy inner self, i.e. Johnny S. has many names and great purpose. Never be in surprise as you confront thyself coming and going in thy daily life. And many of you within this tiny circle have taken great loads to burden thee along the path to harvest of this mission. Healing. Now, wholeness is a concept which is required as you pursue thy path, especially the path of healing. Healed means in wholeness, and you cannot have a whole in partialness. It requires skillful practice to master the art, just as an artist must practice first with the brushes in clumsy strokes until perfection produces the beautiful reflection on the canvas. And it is incorrect, beloved ones, to wait for some future nebulous time when you think by some miracle that suddenly with one sweep you shall step forth and speak the word of healing, and at that moment you will be transformed into the magnification of the Christ. Healing comes as you apply yourself day by day to the invocation, the calling forth of the healing ray, the garnering of that ray in your aura and in the chalice of your consciousness, and then the application of that ray as you are called upon in hour of crisis or need for another. Another incorrect concept. Another incorrect concept is that you are not in need of healing. You seem to be well and functioning, and therefore you perceive that all is well. Precious ones, until the hour of wholeness, of cosmic integration, you are less than whole, and therefore you require healing. Each and every one of you, every hour of the day, can therefore practice the fiats of the Christ. Now go back and study the words of the great teacher. study his words, use the fiats that he used to make men whole. First, he would usually remind them that their transgressions were forgiven, that they might forgive themselves. Now thee must forgive self, for all states of imperfection of self are wrought upon self, in some means or manner as a result of self-punishment for perceived sins. So you must realize that healing is first and most critical, an action of the mind, the subconscious mind that harbors thy instructions for actions performed by self and consciousness. And it sounds as if it is a great difficulty. Nay, simple in truth. So why bother with the healing of the consciousness in the human form? You will just be changing dimensions into wholeness, will thee not? Nay, absolutely not. Can you function without a physical form in this octave? Of course not. So would you then be elsewhere? Perhaps, but your mission would not be fulfilled. Thus, a return once again, another descent of your soul energy into physical form might be required should you pass off lightly the calling of your present position in the world arena. All the time. Now heed carefully. Having a physical form partially dedicated to truth and partially involved in the world of the senses and relationships of controlling nature is not as the masters have intended that you should be. You have accepted a mission, and it cannot be sometimes. It has to be all times, or the work will not be finished in timely manner. So be it. I would wish that it would be otherwise. It is not otherwise. I, Hilarion, place my own energies at thy disposal to help thee find and hold thy way in truth. Men and women who would carry forth on this mission must be in the thinking once, then twice, and again, of holy integration and bringing forth of truth in perfect form. It is not that which goes into thy mouth that defile man. Ye stumble around about that which you eat and drink, but rather it is that which comes out from the mouth that defileth. Healing in thy force field means the actual healing everywhere upon this planetary body. For as you are, as the God within you, the authority for this earth. And you will find that in geometric proportion by the infinite calculus of the Spirit. One with God is a majority for the entire universe. You must see, then, that you are but a replica of the planetary body in your force field and in your own selfness. Therefore, just as the Christos had the power to change an entire course of history, so do thee. And so I, Hilarion, of the ray of the fifth refraction, come with the answer and the key. If it need be heeded and taken, you will find that the power of truth, as it is released from the heart of the great central sun magnet, will draw all men unto me. For I am, the I am of me is the living Christ circle of infinity, and I bear witness to him who showed me along the way of life that the truth, the only way, the only love, and the only power is the victory of the moment of God within the individual force field of all mankind. So be it, and I place my seal upon these words, that they might settle within thy heart place and focus unto thee which is intended for thee. In the total oneness of that which is, I take my leave. I am Hilarion. Chapter 22. Recording number 1, Lady Nada. Tuesday, April 25th, 1989, 6 o'clock a.m., year 2, day 252. And good morning, Dharma, and it is a good morning, I know, child. Ye had of a great revelation in the night, and they have returned to you. As we have all accepted responsibility, it has been a heavy load under which we chafe and squirm, And when thee know thyself, it takes a while to come into balance, so let it be at rest for a time of digestion. I am Lady Nada of the sixth ray, the Kohan, if you will, the bringer of truth of communications on soul levels and nurturing, ministering, and service. And I come most closely wrapped in the robes of violet and gold, from my close association with Germain and Master Isu Jesus. And you of the flock will need of my experience and lessons, whether ye be masculine or feminine. I too had to learn the path of love with the great ascended masters. I also learned that everyone who goes forth to serve has moments of self-doubt, or thinks that after all of their efforts, their works are not too good, or that no one will want them, or believe them, or that no one will appreciate of their talent. Now, there is a moment of total self-blindness when an individual may actually make a choice not to go forward with their accepted work. Now, this is a very difficult impact on those ones who have depended upon that one to fulfill his or her task. And the days grow short upon thy place as ye know it. Ye are in the days of decisions and action. These are days when ye must stand strong, lest ye be pulled down. Ye ones have just been severed from any income resource. The sustaining funds have ceased. What will ye do? Oh, I see, and I thank you, brethren. You will just go on, and you will trust of us to show thee the way. So be it, for as ye release it unto us, it is done. And do not despair, for the plan is yet in unfoldment. It serves ye ones well to remember thy talent in the serving as the mother, the nurturing nature of mother creation, which abides within all beings, male or female. For there's no difference in the realms of higher understanding. There's no difference. For on the magnificent levels, there is total balance, total harmony of flow and integration. Only our thrust is in difference that all facets of it can be best utilized. It is the wondrous flaming heart of the mother, embodied in the friend, the loved one, the ministering one that provides that help when the individual himself must give all strength and energy, all of his drive to the making of the mark at that precise moment. Therefore, even the Christ on the representative 14 stations of the cross still had the balance of his mother, holding the flame of watchfulness, of encouragement, of beauty, and of the divine memory of the end that is known from the beginning. Repetition. Now please understand that even the rotations of the planets, the movements of the stars in their courses, are perpetual example. It's reinforced subconsciously that all of life is in the ritual of ministration, and that the repetition of the ministering is the necessity and the beauty of Christ appearing. As you come to see the need for daily service to be repeated without fail each and every day, as with your receiving Dharma and the sharing. In any and all of your occupations, you move from the mastery of individual Christhood on the sixth ray into and onto the full mastery of the seventh ray. Now you will find thyself in repetition upon repetition. And you will find yourself saying, I have told this person over and over, not once, but many times over, and still they move against the principle of this law. Well, this allows thee to see, beloved ones, that is the obvious need for continued ministration. It's likely the watering of the flowers, the garden. The rains come and then they come again into growth, and the elementals do not complain that they had given water only yesterday. We who come as the teachers often forget there are things we all need on a daily basis. And yet, when it comes to the teaching of the sacred precepts of the law, we think somehow either in ignorance or in pride that if we have been given our teaching, our word ought to be enacted. Further, it is not enacted. Well, it is too bad for that individual. They had their chance. Now, if the angels took this attitude, I dare say that none of you would have a ministering angel today. For you have been ministering unto for tens of thousands of years. So you see, when it is oneself, it is easy to understand that one may need comfort and need it again and again. And in the giving to other, however, you think, well, why is this person always needing comfort when God is obviously so always present? Well, that God needs to be obviously present in you. In turn, it is obvious, or should be to you, that the individual cannot see God or understand His comfort unless you bring it personally. Therefore, in your perception of others' needs, you must put on your Godhood instead of your perception of your own needs, and become the balance which keeps on keeping on. We, the Kohans, therefore observe. We allow souls of light to pursue the path in this way for many years, for we know the end must soon come. And when they have finally magnetized everything they could think of under the sun and realize that their souls are still empty, and there's still that longing for the lost chord. And they may come to the realization that it is not the use of the path for the getting unto oneself, but the use of the path in order to supply the needs of others. That is its highest application. Arrival at truth. So you have truly arrived when you have no needs or wants, and you think to yourself, how rich I am in the wisdom of God, His glory, and His love. Further, when someone might ask what ye would need or prefer as a gift, etc., ye can think of nothing with which to respond. So you have all the needs for perfection within. For many along the path, they consider the mark of attainment to be the fullness of health, wealth, and happiness. For them, these are their standards of spirituality. Well, dear ones, some of the most spiritual people in the world are so bearing the burdens of life that they may be in abject poverty. They may have nothing. They may be burdened with incurable disease. They may be bowed down with all sorts of problems. And those who point the finger and condemn or judge are the very ones who need attainment on the sixth ray of ministration and service. Now, if they would run to the aid of that one, they would discover in themselves the lack of the one great gift that individual possesses: love. Love that replaces fear. Love within the heart that is content to bear the burden of others. Love within the heart that trusts God in the hour of adversity. And love that does not complain simply because all things are not in the fullness of the riches of Western civilization. And as the dreams of this West are created out of the images of opulence, luxuriousness, unending food, etc., etc. But do not misunderstand and assume that if these things are present, it is less than wondrous. It is inner satisfaction and balance of which I speak, not things. Things are nice to have if they can maintain balance in the necessary ability to release without care or pain the things of matter and comfort. Now, if you can let them go, ye have made it. If you can let them go, if necessary, you will have gained grand entry into the kingdom. It is thy willingness within which is the key to the door of greatness. I am come in the flow, and the rhythm of God is love that moves across eternity in undulations of sound, calling the souls of all the evolutions in the stellar worlds come to the heart of God. And the great summoning of life is for souls who have evolved in the outer realms of time and space to return to a center of being. That is awareness. That is truth. That is life. And man must go within, for the souls of mankind are tired of evolution in darkness and chaos. Now, souls have not built the great amphitheater of life where the great drama can be outplayed in nobility after the image and likeness of the Christed ones. Therefore, the weariness of the soul is not in outer manifestation, but the weariness of the soul is in the outer manifestation that is not whole, that is not complete because of wrong sowing and of wrong knowing. Now, mankind have not known the truth that should make them free, but they have known the lie and have been condemned by that lie. Thus, the weariness of the ways of the flesh, the experimentation with the uses of the sacred fires that is inordinate in sight of God. I come as a cosmic mother and as a member of the higher realms to draw the tired, the poor, the weary, those who have been burdened by the world and have not remembered the words of the Prince of Peace. My burden is light. For every burden you carry, precious ones, can be changed in the twinkling of an eye into light's manifestation, light's toleration of itself. Now, life is infinite, and thus the starry light that portends an infinite cosmos waiting to be received, waiting to be filled with the fruits of the harvest of souls, can be seen. It can be known, and it can be experienced by souls who will come within, into the inner being, into the chamber of the heart place. And when you come into that stillness and you begin to meditate upon God, becoming one with thy Godness, you will first be moved and stirred by the regular beat of God's heart. In that beat is the pattern of the release of energy for cosmos, a rose, a seed, a soul. It is the regular advancing rhythm of energy, spiraling from a fiery core to the circumference of its inherent design. When you come into the center of the heart and meditate upon these concepts, you will at first wonder at the grandness of God's beingness. And by, as you think upon these things and that being, you will come to realize that you are thinking upon your very own being, your very own life, for God is life. In fact, Chelas, God and life are synonymous. I am. The sounding of the great tone which marks the birth of the soul is a mystical awareness of identity as the I am, that I am. Further, that which I am is God, and that which I am is the soul when you say I am that I am. When God then speaks, he is saying, I am that soul. I am that awareness of self. I am that I am. And when the soul speaks in the first person, echoing the words of the Creator, the soul declares, I am. Then, as the energies flow from the spirit to the soul, from the soul to the spirit, from God to man, from man to God, who can say at what point God is becoming man and man is becoming God? And who can say at what point there is the vortex of the interchange where God is man and man is God? Therefore, I am that I am. For in the law of the one, the Alpha is become the Omega, the beginning and the ending. And the Omega is become the Alpha. The end has become the start, the cycle infinite. And this is the sacred circle closed within the Christness of self and oneness with all. So being is one, life is one, but there is a divinity of polarity which manifests in order that God might have subjective awareness of self, and that man might have an objective awareness of self, that God might have an objective awareness of self, that man might be a subjective awareness of self. Thus, in the flow of life, transcending life, all being is indeed one. Now, as you contemplate this great mystery in the center of God's self's heart, gathering more of the flame of spirit into the soul, you reach a point in meditation, in oneness, where you might say your soul could burst with the fervor of the divine light. Then comes that great and wondrous desire to burst forth as a bud would in the springtime, as a blossom on a plant, as a leaf on a tree, and as a wondrous bird flying from the nest, a fledgling ready to experience life. And at some point you must release those energies that have been winding tighter and tighter within. The spring must at some point be released. The energy must be allowed expansion, and the spirals must go forth. Now the cycles must be released, for cycles increase the identity of God. Man's awareness spins from the center to the periphery of God's cosmic consciousness. And man's whereabouts in time and space are limited only by his use or misuse of energy. Using energy wisely and well, man transcends finite spheres and blends his consciousness into oneness, allness. I am he. I am thou. I am they. I am me. I am brotherhood. Success through brotherhood. Now, brotherhood is a union of souls who have gone forth from the center of beingness. All beings who have identified with God throughout the ages are connected. And it is through this brotherhood that we shall accomplish this wondrous transition which is coming. And there is much speculation upon these matters. The prophecies have been made from the beginning of life upon thy place, the cycles explored and predicted. So be it, Chelas, for it is coming to be in thy present time. We are connected directly to your energy flow at this sequence point. I in the Pleiades, you upon the planet of dense compression. You know within, however, that the brotherhood stretches as our oneness spans time and space. Let us remain ever within the violet flame which holds us bound as one in service, that the transmutation, which some will call the rapture or the translation, might pass smoothly, and the tribulation be surmounted by the ones of the Master's fold. Aton will give thee what ye need to understand and know of all these things. Thy time is at hand. Allow it to be a wondrous adventure, beloved ones. Ye shall be meeting us most quickly within the unlimits of the cosmos, for we shall come from the clouds to enfold thee in infinite love and service. I am that I am, nada. And we're going to stop there, and we'll continue on with chapters 23 and 24 in the next reading. Please forgive me for not showing my face today, but it's been a trying weekend for me, so I'm going to let you stare at Isu, Emmanuel, Jesus, Sananda. And let me tell you a little bit about this photo. It says this reproduction is from an actual photograph taken on June 1st, note the date and the year, 1961, in Chichen Itza, the Yucatan, by one of 30 archaeologists working in the area at that time. Sananda appeared in visible, tangible body and permitted his photograph to be taken. Now you may say that is so far-fetched. Well, is it? They're telling us they can come in our realm at any given time. They say that Isu Emmanuel, Jesus Sananda, he's come back many times in many fashions. So this is what he looks like. Okay, folks, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for sharing the videos. Please subscribe and share these with your families, your friends, your co-workers, anybody that's willing to listen, that wants the knowledge. Okay, all you have to do is drop the seed and let God do the rest. Okay, share your smile. Give someone you love a hug because life is short. Do something really kind for someone else because everyone can use a hand up every now and then. And Love each other as God loves us, as Jesus loves us, as our Creator loved us and still loves us. If we love each other, the darkness vanishes. But people don't understand how simple that is. They're too involved in the material world. Love you. See you. Bye.